And hello, everybody. Welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live. How are all of you? Hope you're having a beautiful day. If you're not, well, guess what? You found the right spot on the dial, or in this case, online. The Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. It's good to have you with us. It is Friday evening here. We broadcast this show 7 days a week, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific live. And we do it to an international audience called the Loveities. Those are our viewers who love the show. And I happen to say back in the summertime that the show is inspiring, positive. We have good times here. And also the show is about light, love, and levity. And I said love and levity just a little too fast. And what happened? Boom. Loveity was created, and the viewers call themselves the Loveities. They call this Loveity Hall. They call me Mr. Levity. This show is an entertainment lifestyle talk show series patterned after some of the old school traditional television talk shows, the beloved talk shows like Johnny Carson, Steve Allen, Dick Cavett, David Susskind, Mike Douglas, Merv Griffin, Dick Clark. We're taking all of that sensibility of the art of conversation and blending it with a modern twist and vibe of today. So we're taking this world, and we're merging them together on the Jim Masters Show Live. If you're not having a good day, well, we're here to inspire, to have a good time. We always have guests from television, film, music, Broadway, Hollywood, health and wellness, science, culinary arts, comedy, sports, inspiration, every kind of endeavor, field of endeavor, wealth of success. We cover it here on the show. I am your host, Jim Masters. I do this work professionally in the real world as a television and radio personality, presenter, host, journalist, actor, writer, producer, stage MC, voiceover narrator. Have done it for a long time on networks and television stations, radio stations, production companies, and so much more. And for years, people said, Jim, why don't you put something like this together? So back in April, we brought in the television equipment. We built the home studio here in the greater New York area between New York and Boston along the southern New England coast in the United States. And the rest is history. Some 250 episodes or so later, here we are with all of you. Thank you so very much for all of the comments, all of the tweets, the Instagram love, the Facebook love. You can find me on Facebook at Jim Masters TV, Twitter and Instagram at Jim Masters TV, Periscope and Twitch at Jim Masters TV. And of course, everybody watching right now on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. We invite you to subscribe to the channel as we continue to grow that channel. It also allows us to continue to provide these exquisite episodes that we have. I have to tell you, so many viewers or the Loveities tell me personally in messages and all kinds of emails how much they love our show, how they're comforted by it, how they look forward to it. But the guests do as well. The guests send me these messages saying, Jim, now I watch the show all the time, or I've been watching for months and I want to come on the show. I think that's absolutely beautiful. So thanks to everybody, the guests, the viewers, everybody who's tagging and sharing and celebrating and just telling the whole world about the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. It means a great deal, and it allows us to continue doing what we're doing. Many of you have asked, well, Jim, you're very busy with your professional work. Is this something you're going to do only until, quote unquote, COVID ends? Which I don't know if it's ever going to come to a complete end, but no, we're going to keep going. We'll hear nightly, and sometimes we do 2 shows a day with guests that are overseas. We'll do an earlier show on the weekends and then do a night show. But hey, as long as you guys are out there and it continues to grow by leaps and bounds as it is, we'll continue to do the shows. We greet all of you. We welcome you to Loveity Hall here on the Jim Masters Show Live, and we toast all of you. We say good evening, good day, good morning. Whenever you're watching this, you might be watching this at 3 a.m., binge watching our series on YouTube, or you might be watching us live. We always welcome you, and we always toast you because we think our viewers are very, very special. I'm a host. This is what I do. A journalist, a presenter, a personality, and I love connecting with people, and it's just part of who I am on air and off the air. And we're going to have an amazing show tonight. We're going to talk a lot about life and some really important topics tonight because we've got an extraordinary author and life coach live and direct from Beverly Hills, California, the phenomenal Sterling Mire. And she gets it. She gets what life's about. She's very empathetic, compassionate. She's a great listener. And she's somebody who has a story to share, and she loves connecting with people. So if you're not having a good day, or you have questions, or you just want to figure things out about, some of the things we've been going through in our lives, especially the last year or so, feel free to comment. I know you guys like to comment. That's very important. And we'll take some of those right now. Our viewers or our lovities. Willie's watching in the Netherlands. Hello, lovities. Hello, Jim. Here is Holland. Have a nice evening. Good to see you as well. Willie and Mary Bishop is here. Hi, Jim, and hello, lovities. Mary Bishop watches in Florida as well. That's great. And everybody's having conversations with each other. Gary, how are you? Willie, how are you? Mary, how are you? How are you, Mary? How are you, Gary? It's really cool to see that. All the lovities communicate as well. It's one big happy family on the Jim Master Show Live. Good evening, everyone. Happy Friday from Kathy Short in Cleveland, Ohio. And from South Africa, hello, Jim and Loveity family from Juanita. Good to see you as well. Hey, gang, the hair's getting really long, isn't it? Usually it's short like that guy there in the picture, but I'm going to see if I can make it till March. It's been since March of last year when I got it cut. Now I'm on a mission. It's kind of like when you drive from, the Northeast on I-95 south to Florida, which is like 1,200 miles. You kind of keep going till you get there. I'm already almost there. So I'm like, what the heck? But I told you I didn't do it tonight, but sometimes when I do a television shoot, and if it's a news shoot or something, I have that turtleneck tutorial where I can take the hair and I can actually tuck it into tonight I'm wearing, it looks black, but it's actually a dark navy blue. It's a navy blue, really nice, chunky sweater, warm, because it's very, very cold out here in the Northeast today. And we've got a snowstorm coming Monday. So a nice chunky turtleneck sweater keeps us warm. But when I do some television stuff, I tuck this in so the hair looks short because it's tucked into the turtleneck. Tonight, it's just freewheeling. We're having fun. Good to see you, Juanita. And Ann is here. Good evening, Jim and Lovities. And hope everyone's had a fantastic day. We still are. And Merlin is here. Hello, Jim and Lovities. Just left Paul Green's session. Loved it. Fantastic. He's a good friend of mine. Linda is here as well. Hope you're doing well, Merlin in Canada. Good evening, Mr. Loveity. Good evening, Lovities. Linda in Florida. I know you love when I wear that hat. Hi, Jim, and hi, everyone. Hope you're well. Kathleen in New York City. Hope you're feeling better, Kathleen. Hope you're doing well. And Willie says, yes, I love the show. I'm glad after the show I see my lovely family. It's wonderful that you're here as well. And Carla is watching. Carla is watching in South America, in Brazil. We love you, Carla. Hope you're doing well. Friday night. Hi, Jim and gang. Greetings from South America. It's so wonderful when you're here. Gary Troyer is here in Iowa. Good evening, Jim, or Mr. Jim Loveity. Thank you very much. I appreciate that as well. And everybody checking in on everybody, making sure everybody's doing well. I love all this. Hi, Merlin, and hi, Willie, and hi, Kathleen, and hi, Gary, and hi, Juanita, and hi, Carla. It's awesome. Have we not created? I feel like sometimes I'm the camp leader for everybody. Okay, let's form a line now. And Christine Clifton is here. She loves the show and got your email. I have to respond. I just need a minute to respond because I want to have a nice response. But thanks for your lovely email, Christine, one of our great lovities in North Carolina. Greetings, Jim and lovities. Welcome Sterling on the show tonight. I'm sure we'll have a great conversation soon. It's going to be an amazing conversation. I think it's going to be one that's very positive, and I think it's going to be amazing. It's amazing. Are you enjoying the long hair, or does it bother you? No, you have a goal until March. It does bother me when I lean forward at the kitchen counter, and it does bother me when I'm sleeping because it goes in my face. This is the longest I've ever, it's up to my shoulder. It's the longest I've ever had it my entire life. The longest. So I'm like, what the heck? Of everything we've gone through in the last year, let's just have some fun, doing the show out of the house and do radio shows out of the house. So we're having some fun. But sometimes when I'm sleeping, I have to go and then that's about it. I'll wear a hat. It's cold, so I'll wear a hat. And everybody's doing well. And like Willie says, we are family. Yes. Valerie's here. And, good to see you from Maryland and Washington, D.C. area, Valerie. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, we're going to extend as well. Welcome all viewers, loveties, whether you're watching live right now. We also have a lot of people who watch who don't comment, they just watch, and people who watch the show later. You can find all of our episodes archived on our YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV, and we would love it if you subscribe to the channel. What a wonderful guest we have, Sterling Mire. She's in Beverly Hills, California right now. She has several locations. She's an extraordinary author and life coach and much, much more. But even more than that, she's a wonderful person. Originally from Texas, where she graduated from Arts Magnet, Performing Arts High School, and received professional training in Dallas, which led her to LA. There she acted in several feature films as well, one of which led her to the discovery by a major music label and more substantial career in the industry. During this time, she also researched through books, college level courses, psychology and workshops, and ways of manifesting one's dreams. In 1998, she began to develop her own art of manifestation, or AOM system, from personal and group testing that created 90 to 95% completion rates for her trail testers. We're going to talk about what the art of manifestation system is. It's extraordinary. After using it to launch a musical career, she returned to develop her system further and make it available to the general public. 2012, after working with her clients for years, she refined her AOM system and founded Get Your Life Now. Over the years, Sterling has worked with over 4,300 clients, presented 87 workshops around the world. Her esteemed corporate clients include Google, People Magazine, InStyle Magazine, Entertainment Weekly, Hyatt and Hilton Hotels, the Lifetime Channel, the Beverly Wilshire Hotel, among many others. She's also worked with A-list celebrities, such as those on House of Cards, Constance Zimmer, award-winning actress Kimberly Elise, to name a few. It is my pleasure to welcome her live and direct from Beverly Hills, California, the incomparable Sterling Mire. Sterling, welcome to the show. It is wonderful to have you here. And thanks for joining us, my friend.
Thank you, Jim. It's a pleasure being here. I'm very excited and really am enjoying your show so far. It's great to be turned on to something new, and I love how you are bringing all of those the heart and soul of those talk shows that I so miss, that I'm reduced to watching reruns of because we just don't have them anymore. So it's great to just discover you and your show, and thank you so much for having me here.
Oh, you are very, very welcome. And as I mentioned to you, you were going to be showered with lots of our Jim Masters show famous loveity. So here it is. Mary Bishop in Florida says, welcome, Sterling. Happy to have you at Loveity Hall, as they call it. Juanita in South Africa says, welcome to the show, Sterling. Anne, who's also in Southern California, says, hello, everyone, and hope you're having a blessed day, and welcoming you to the show. Linda says, good evening, Sterling. You're a loveity now. Boy, that didn't take long. You're now officially a loveity. And I tell people there's Emmys, Oscars, Peabodys, Tellys, Grammys, and Tonys. But when you get a loveity on the Jim Masters Show Live, aren't your feet tingling right now?
It's great. I love that. I love
Isn't
how
it
that all
cool?
came about.
By accident.
Yes.
Love and levity said too fast. It was a Freudian slip, and look what happened. Linda says, good evening. You're a loveity. So she's deemed you a loveity. And Willie, who's actually watching late into the evening, it's like 1 a.m. in Holland in the Netherlands. Welcome, Sterling. Have a nice show here with the loveties. You are also now a loveity. So she's deemed you a loveity as well, which is kind of cool. It's very special on our show. It's a wonderful community we have here around the world. Sherry says, hello, loveties. Wonderful to be back in Loveity Hall with all of us again. Bernadette says, hi, Jim and fellow loveties. Anne is saying, welcome, Sterling. So happy to see and hear you tonight. That is Ann Wozniak. She's with us as well. Again, they've all been looking forward to the show as we've been promoting it on social media. Gary says, and he's in Iowa, welcome, Loveity Sterling. You're now Loveity Sterling. What a cool name, Loveity Sterling. So when you go into the supermarket in Beverly Hills, say, good evening, I'm Loveity Sterling. That would be cool. It's kind of cool. Welcome Sterling to Loveity Hall from Bernadette. And Anne, also in Southern California, says, welcome, Sterling. Love your blouse. Anne loves your blouse.
Thank you.
And Kathy Short says, welcome, Sterling, to the land. That's the effect. It's a good thing it's not radio, right? Because now they see the blouse and how beautiful it is. Kathy Short in Cleveland says, welcome, Sterling, to the land of loveity. She's welcoming you as well. Tina is here. They're all watching on our YouTube channel. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Jim Master Show Live. Welcome to Loveity Hall from the Poconos of Pennsylvania, Sterling. And Christine Clifton in North Carolina says, welcome to the Jim Master Show Live. You are now a loveity. Happy you could join us. Welcome, welcome. That's quite a welcome. And there'll be more coming along. We toast you. We welcome you to our show. And how are you? How have you been doing through all of the craziness of everything that, you know, we've all been going through? How have you remained creative and connected and positive and sane through everything that you've experienced and that you've even heard from clients?
Well, you know, to be honest with you, I like I tell people all the time, COVID has not factored into my life. In other words, I have still been doing everything that I manifested for myself. My plans are going smoothly. Nothing has been interrupted. I mean, it's almost as if it's not a part of my world, you know? So even though it does exist, and, you know, my mother had COVID in July, and I had COVID.
You did have it, yeah.
But I got over it in 3 days because I created it. It was like amazing too, because I got it like Friday night, and by Monday morning I was 100%. So it didn't even interrupt in my plans. And
that's amazing. Now, what do you? Now, for people watching that have concerns about COVID, what do you attribute that to? Do you live a very healthy lifestyle? Are there things that you do? Oh, that's cool. The lights behind you just went on. That's really nice. Or they blink maybe. That's kind of cool. You have a light. Yeah. Just as we started talking, the lights just started going on. That's cool. It's an energy coming in the room.
Yeah.
See?
So
what would you attribute that to? I mean, that's
magical room.
I'm glad that your mother and you sailed through it. What do you attribute that to? Are there things that you did? Were you wearing masks, social distancing? Were you living a healthy lifestyle? For people who are very scared and nervous and almost panicked about COVID and even getting it, what are some of the things you would say that have helped you perhaps?
You have to, I think it's important to understand that everything that you want to create is within you. You don't have to look outside of yourself to create anything you want. But we're in a culture, we're in a society that we look to therapists and doctors and, you know, movies and friends and potential
and medicine and pills and numbing agents.
Yeah, you're right. The list goes on. We're constantly thinking, oh my gosh, I have this problem. Where is it? Where is it out there? Where's the answer? You know? But it's not. It's just within you. And I have created my health, you know, with my AOM system. It's really interesting. I remember the first time I had a breakthrough with my health using the system. And that was when I had started to feel like I was getting sick. I started getting throat, a whole woozy feeling, low-grade fever coming on. We've all had that, you know, feeling where it's like, I feel like I'm getting sick. And I remember saying to myself, well, do you want to be well? And I said, yeah. And so I said, okay, when do you want to be well? And I was talking to a friend about this, and I told him, I said, 1:00 tomorrow, I want to be 100%. And he said, okay, great. I'll stand for that. Okay. Give me a call at 1:00 tomorrow. Right. So I called him at 1 o'clock. I had absolutely no symptoms. And what was interesting is at 12 o'clock, I was making these phone calls, and every 15 minutes, I started noticing my energy was returning. I started noticing that my throat was feeling much better. Kid you not, exactly at 1 o'clock, absolutely no symptoms, and I never got sick. And from that experiment, and I call everything in life an experiment, by the way,
Yes,
because
it
when you
is.
approach
Yeah.
things in life, experiment, you can remain as an observer, and you don't fall into the pitfall of attachment. You have more fun and curiosity, which is powerful in itself. So at 1 o'clock, like I said, boom, never got sick or anything. It didn't come back or anything like that. And from that moment on, it was a turning point. And I knew that I could any time, and I knew exactly how I did treat it. And that's the thing about the AOM system and why there's a mastery in it. You know, the book that I just released, the AOM System, Manifestation Mastery in 30 Days, the mastery is part of producing those magical and miraculous outcomes, because you get to understand how you did it so you can duplicate it anytime and on a daily basis. And my
So
clients do. So
is it a
no,
mind over
what's that?
matter type of thing? Is it uh,
No.
uh, sort of like willing it away, or saying, gee, I don't, COVID, just go away? Tell us about how it works. It's fascinating. How did it work for you?
Well, it isn't mind over matter. It's really about discovering and learning how results and experiences get produced. So when you understand how that happens on an experiential level, then from there, the experiments start. And because this system is really airtight and foolproof, if you follow the system, the steps, exactly the way it's designed, then everything will fall into place. And it's from that experience that you have an even greater knowledge. It goes from a concept of understanding to like a knowing understanding. And this changes your belief system right on the spot. For
Hmm.
instance, when I had that experiment with making myself well, I mean, my belief system changed. I cannot go back and say to myself, oh, I can't just heal myself when I want to. I already
Right.
proved differently.
Mm.
It's very hard to buy into the lie again. So that's basically, how it starts off and what's really important. And what my clients love to do, because they practice this system, what they're able to do now, it's in 4 parts. So by the time they get into part 3 and 4, they're able to declare exactly what they want their ideal day to be. And there is a 90 to 100% success rate on a daily basis. And this also gives them the opportunity, when they review it at the end of the day, how they produce those results.
Mm.
So that's where the mastery comes in.
So you
It's
created
very
this.
exciting.
You had moved from Texas to Los Angeles, and you were obviously pursuing a wonderful career as an actress and in several films and lots of other projects and productions. And what was the inspiration for you to then say, there is this way to manifest, there is this way to understand these things that we have control of and power over? When did that trigger, that inspiration happen for you? And were you always open to new, fresh ideas and learning about yourself and learning about life in ways? Because some people are very, closed about certain things, like, oh, well, you either have to do it this way or no way. You obviously were very open to learning about new things, including about yourself. So when did that inspiration or those aha moments happen for you, Sterling?
When I was 5.
Fine. Back in
It
Texas.
started when I was 5, because when I was 5, I knew that I wanted to live an extraordinary life. I came into the world curious and fantastic, and I knew that I really wanted to live a full life, and do everything that I really wanted to do in life. So it really kind of started then with me realizing that. And then at 13, I started reading Maxwell Maltz, Psycho-Cybernetics. I wanted to see or understand, more on a formal level, if you will, how to go about that. However, as much as I loved the book, I was reduced to tears because I was like, well, I don't know how to do this. And how come I can't? The stories in the book, I was like, how come I can't produce these kinds of stories and these results? And it was very frustrating. But I continued to read everything I could. I read every different religions. I delved into self-help. I went to workshops and seminars. I mean, I just really explored everything. And what I found was that there was some nice nuggets here and elements of truth there. And there was a lot of interesting pieces to the puzzle, but nobody provided all the pieces to the puzzle. So therefore, at some point or another, I'd get disillusioned, I'd have unanswered questions, and I would get stopped. And in fact, a lot of my clients that come to me, they had the same experiences as I did. And they said, oh my gosh, I've been doing this 20 years, or I've been trying, and this is finally, the thing that I was looking for. They say, I've done all this stuff, nothing really worked. And this is the first thing that really worked. And that really is so exciting to discover. I was just speaking to a client earlier today, and she's one of those people. So that's what really started creating the system for me, was that I felt that I had a lot of knowledge. However, there needed to be a structure. There needed to be something that people could apply to their lives. You read the books and you go, that sounds great, but now what do I do? So here's a great analogy. It's as if you wanted to bake cakes, right? And you learned all about cakes and what's in cakes. So there's sugar, there's flour, there's square ones, there's round ones, and you learn all this like world of cakes. And you shut the book and you feel so knowledgeable and you understand a lot of things, but then you go, how do I do this? And there's, because this book doesn't contain a recipe, right? So that's the analogy that I use. This book, the AOM System, has that recipe for success, for happiness, success, health, over and beyond what you can even imagine. And I love it because when I work with my clients, I say, play big, create big, like as if you have a magic genie, like go for it. Yeah. And then they come back and their results supersede beyond their imaginings. And that's why it's so exciting. They get even more than what they envisioned for themselves or inspired by it. And it's just I love it. I love it. So magical because we discover all these great things. I didn't know I could produce this so quickly. Oh my gosh. And I had a client today. She was talking about, I was thinking about kind of exploring the idea of moving to Colorado. And she goes, and then wouldn't you know it? It wasn't, but a minute later, I'm talking to somebody, friend of mine, and she says she has a house in Colorado, and she said that I could rent it and that I could pay anything I wanted. I could totally work with her. And it was in the perfect spot, in the perfect neighborhood, because I got familiar with it, is what she said. And she goes, I couldn't believe how fast that just showed up.
Wow. Wow. So is it part of like the power of positive thinking as well? You have to sort of try to extinguish negative thoughts that come into your life, because there is so much negativity in our lives and swirling around us, and people do get consumed and overwhelmed oftentimes to the point of sort of losing the flame that they've had inside them. They sort of extinguish it, or it's extinguished for them because of all the negativity that is swirling around them and unresolved issues they may have and things of that nature, lack of self-worth, whatever it may be. And all those things pile on, so they give in or they give up. Surrounding yourself with positivity, I would imagine, is also a plus with this, isn't it?
Well, it's not really positive thinking. And here's why positive thinking or positive affirmations don't work. is because you cannot take something that's positive and apply it over something that's negative, a block for say, for instance, a block, right? So you have these two opposing things. You know, I'll just use a simple example. Someone says, well, I can't sing. And then they just say to themselves, I can sing, I can sing, I can sing. But they've never actually neutralized or taken that negative thought and transformed it. Now, part one in the AOM system allows people to literally remove all the negativity that they've been carrying around, all the beliefs that are negative and faulty that don't serve them. That's what happens in the very first part. It's amazing because clients look back and they go, you know what? I look back on the traumas of my life, the just most upsetting things that's ever happened to me, disappointments, etc. And I feel calm. I feel peaceful. I feel acceptant with the situations that have happened. And it's just not there for them anymore. Those blocks and those negative feelings and those upsets aren't there anymore, which is awesome because that's where you want to be. Before you start creating your future, before you start really bringing your ideal life into existence, you've got to really negate and unplug from those negative energies. You've got to be free of them. So they feel this freedom and this peace. And when they, like I said, it's amazing. They can look back on this stuff, right? And this is done in one day or less than a day, really, just a handful of hours. And they look back and they go, it's just all right. It's just okay. And then from there, they can really start to create an ideal life for themselves, unencumbered by perceived constraints or limitations because they're all gone.
So I would imagine that you've had a lot of people coming to you, especially in the recent months with COVID, the pandemic, the economy, the political unrest, the societal unrest, and all the different things that people have been experiencing, and maybe personal loss, and whether financial or somebody passed in the family, whatever it may be. And this feeling of stuck and frustration and overwhelm, almost like the rug is being pulled from underneath them and the world is coming apart and ending as they knew it. What would you say to somebody watching live right now or watch this in the archive? And there are many, many people who are hurting and many people who are feeling that way right now all around the world, especially with all of the current events that are happening. How can this system help them? What are some of the first steps, things that they can do, maybe even today, to sort of not necessarily wipe away the realities of what's going on, because it is things we do have to deal with, but work through it in a way that gets people through so they can manifest their dreams and continue in a forward movement?
Well, a lot of my clients come to me very much steeped in depression and anxiety, even just flat out feeling suicidal, just can't be with it anymore. I've had a lot of clients in all different circumstances or situations that they're facing. That is the thing. The part one does is allows people to absolutely transform their relationship to those hindrances and those upsets that are happening now and that have all, as well happened in the past, right? So everything in the past and everything up until now, all of that has been neutralized and there is peace in its place. They also get that they're able to create anything that they want now. And that's very important because whatever has happened in the past is no longer a concern, has been put to rest with peace and love. And they also know that going forward, now I can create anything that I want. I can create all the desirable experiences and results that I want in my life. So they know how to do that. So that's another reason why the past doesn't upset them, or their current circumstances don't upset them, because they're able to now move forward and create anything that they want. To impart some advice at the moment, the most powerful thing I know of is the AOM system. I wish there was like a magic wand or a band-aid, but it's easier said than done. If I tell you that accepting what is so in the current moment, accepting the current challenge or the upset in the moment is going to help you, it's true. It will help you, because what you resist persists. So if you're not resisting something any longer, it won't persist. And that's what acceptance is. Acceptance is not agreement. And there's a big distinction between the two. So that would be something that I would advise people. However, they may say, okay, I can understand that. Okay, I can get that. If I resist something and say, no, I don't want this, it's going to continue, because it's just a universal truth. What you resist persists. This is why people start out their days and something goes wrong and they're like, darn, and it's like, then they continue on and they're like, oh, and this is happening and this is happening. And now they're on this
piling up. Yeah.
Going wrong. But it's because that first thing that went wrong, they resisted it, and they have all this resistance within them. Now they're trying to control things to get things back on track, and it doesn't work that way. It's actually the opposite. The more you try to control it, the more you try and get things on track, you're actually engaging in resistance. You're not allowing something to be right. So accepting something is a way completely opposite approach than what we've been taught. However, it is incredibly powerful if you can accept and allow something to be without making it bad or wrong. This is a big turning point. But, for some people, it takes a little bit of practice, and that's okay, but they do get it. They always get it. All my clients get it within 30 days. They get it on a real gut level, which is where you want to get it. You don't want to get it just up here conceptually. You want to know the truth of it experientially. So this is the difference between a lot of modalities out there, is that this is experiential learning versus conceptual learning. And that's where your life changes dramatically, and it never is the same again, all for the better.
If anybody has any questions, feel free to post them in our comments and we can see them here live. So your life, obviously, it's been a blessing to learn about all of this, hasn't it? And it's a blessing that is one that you want to pay forward in so many different respects, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's my intention to allow this system to be accessible to every single person in the world. And I work with people all over the world. So that's why I have all the modalities that I have. I work with people one-on-one. I work in group settings. I have a video series for people who want to work in that way. And now with the book, so there's really nothing to stop anybody. They can't say, well, that weekend event that you're putting on, that doesn't work for my schedule. Or they can't say, oh, I can't afford working with you one-on-one. Nothing can stop them. There's no excuses they can hide behind, except for the excuse called, I'm not ready, or I don't want to do this. And that's it. But honestly, who doesn't want an extraordinary life, right? Who doesn't want that now? But sometimes people get really attached to what's familiar, even if it's not good for them.
Right.
But the beautiful thing is, as I say, take a leap of faith, try this, allow yourself to try it on. It's so fast acting. It starts working the minute that you start using it. And that's one of the quotes on the book by Dee Wallace, who wrote the foreword, the actress and mother from E.T. and the star of Cujo, so many other things. And she's been doing conscious creating for 30 years now. So it was really extraordinary to have her write the foreword. But that's one of the things she says. It starts working the minute that you start working it. And, you can always go back to the things that are working in your life. You're not trapped. So why not? Because you know what my clients say? Instead of feeling like they're letting go of something that they cherish, or, oh, what's going to happen if I'm not me anymore, if I'm living a different life? But really, they come back and they say, I've never felt more calm and natural in my life, is what the words they use. I just feel like everything, it really is like a piece of heaven. And
like they're
everything
living
is
their
so
authentic
harmonious.
life,
Everything is,
right? And they're living their
yeah.
authentic
So
life.
some people get stopped by that. Right. It's an authentic life, and there's nothing more comfortable of a life to be in. So people get stopped by the change factor, but I'm here to say there's nothing, absolutely nothing to fear with change. In fact, it could be the greatest discovery of your whole life.
So have you found with everything we've been going through, like for me, I've been saying on the air and off the air too in conversations, I'm hoping that, we rise from the ashes of some of the things that have gone on in the last year or so, more empathetic, more kinder, more compassionate. We listen to each other more. We realize that we all have self-worth. We all have value. We all have a voice at the table. For you, with the things that you've seen gone on in the last year, what are some of your clients saying? What are some of the types of issues that, and I know it's not a cookie cutter, one size fit all approach at all, but what are some of the things that you're hearing out there that people are struggling with and they're confused about and dealing with in their lives even today?
Really, it's the same things as always, because the most important things in our life is fulfilling on a purpose, our relationships, our health, and our, our hobbies, or whatever we like to do in addition. Um, and really, there's so much emphasis. Their home, of course, but there's so much emphasis on relationships. Relationships is like everything. It's our bedrock. It's our foundation from which we operate from. And what's interesting is my clients discover they have a relationship with everything. And that's one of the things that I enlighten them about. You have a relationship to everything, from the people to places to things to events. And all of those relationships actually contribute to what you experience and what your outcomes are. So if your relationships, I mean, down to your toothbrush. So if your relationship is disempowering to anything that you may perceive in your world, this is going to have a big impact on your life and what you experience, what you create. And if we look at life fundamentally, right, we just boil it down, take all the distracting details out of it, those distractions, and take out all those complications that we ourselves create. Life is a series of creations and experiences. You create something and you experience it. You create something and you experience it. That's how we live our entire life. So you create a conversation, you experience it. You create a thought, you experience it. You create a meal, a dish, you experience that. If you're sleeping, you're experiencing dreams. If you're cleaning the house, you're creating cleaning, and you're experiencing that. So you're creating, like I said, you're creating rejuvenation, rest. There's all kinds of things that you're creating when you're sleeping besides dreams. So really, that's what life is a series of creations and experiences. And if you have the tools and you have that understanding of how life works, you can create anything that you want anytime, all the time, consistently. It doesn't have to be hit or miss. Oh, I had a bad day. Maybe tomorrow will be a good day. Oh, thank God, today's better than yesterday. We don't have to live our lives like that. We don't have to suffer ever.
Some people tend to kick the can down the road, keep kicking the can down the road, as opposed to, hitting it head on. Some people listening or watching may saying, "Oh, well, do I have to be physically in tip-top shape? Do I have to be rich? Do I have to have everything already set up to be able to manifest my dreams and master it all?" Tell us about that. You don't have to be, right?
No, absolutely not. Like we talked about earlier, we talked about how everything is within. Everything that you want to create is within you. It's not out there. You can create it all within you. And then you're creating it within you. Your inner world is transformed, and everything that shows up will reflect and does reflect all that's been going on in here. You don't need to be rich. Of course not. Look, we've got a lot of proof out there. Just like what comes to mind, just like that, it's like Dolly Parton. Was she rich? Was she connected? Did she
She
have
created her
anything
own
to
thing,
create an
right?
extraordinary life for herself? Yeah. Um, and there are people that are physically disabled, but that doesn't stop them doing all kinds of sports. So there are no limitations, absolutely not. You don't have to have anything but yourself, and that's it. That is absolutely it. And you can produce magic and miracles instantaneously, absolutely quickly, faster than you ever could imagine, if you just simply have the tools. And these are the tools here that are provided for doing that. I've
Like
had
what
people
would
come to me
be
and they say, I just read your book and things are already changing.
so like what would be a
What's that?
tool, one tool? What would be an example of a tool that people can relate to from the AOM system?
Well, the one thing is the exercise that I do where in part one, it's an exercise. And what people do is they actually express their experience of a person, place, thing, or event
Mm,
on paper for about a
yeah.
half a page. And then from there, they're able to distinguish what it is that's inauthentic. The first part, when I work with my clients, or the first part of the book actually gets them their perspective shifted so they can do the exercise. So what they start to realize is how they created everything in their lives. That what they actually created, or the meanings that they applied to the things that happened or they experienced in their life, is actually a product of themselves. And with that understanding that they gain from that, it not only empowers them to be able to start to create what they want, they start to notice that, hey, my mom is strict with me and all of that. And I thought that was horrible. And that was so mean. She's so mean. But what they start to realize is like, oh my gosh, I get it. She was strict with me because she loved me that much. She
Hmm.
wanted me to do so well. And yet I interpreted it like she was mean and she didn't care because she was strict, things like that. And then they get the truth of the situation, they're able to transform it. And the other thing they're able to do too is be able to transform their relationship to themselves, what they made it mean about them. A really simple thing, between the ages of 3 and 17, we actually create our entire world, and then we reinforce it once we become an adult. In the real world, all we're doing is reinforcing what we ourselves created. So there's a lot of faulty beliefs, and there's a lot of things that we create that we'd rather leave behind when we fly off into our adult world. But we don't leave it behind. We take it with us. You can't run from it. You got to transform it. So my clients discover that they had created all of this, and they also discover how it's untrue, how it's absolutely untrue. And they see what is true. And that's like part of the tools that we're talking about. And then they also go, oh, I use the example of like the mother who's really strict and seems very mean, right? Then they say, oh, you know what? I realized through the exercise that what I made about me was that I wasn't good enough, or that I'm not
Mm,
lovable, or there's
Right.
something wrong with me, right? And I realize now that nothing, no, I just made that up. That was my interpretation. That was my creation or my meaning that I came up with. That's not true at all. And so the truth really sets you free. When you see the truth, everything changes. It's like it's that powerful. It really is that powerful, and everything truly changes. It's almost like the wool has been pulled out from, above your eyes. It's like, now I can see, now I get it, now it all makes sense for a change. Oh my gosh. It's really exciting, and
So the
my clients
blockages
really
go
love that.
away.
And
Yeah, the blockages go
what's
away,
that?
and the blockages that we sort
Yeah.
of self-internalize tend to go away and they open up. And, a lot of times people struggle also with unresolved inner child issues, conditioning, things that they always heard growing up, maybe from family and from others. You will not be able to do that. You'll never be able to go there. You shouldn't do that, or that's too risky. Or so the person becomes an adult and they never take chances. They never step out of the comfort zone. They never, go beyond what has been created for them by other people who've said, you're always going to be that, or you should be that, or you should live that way, or you shouldn't do that. And that can really have a detrimental effect on people's ability to experience the full beauty and breadth and scope of what life has to offer, right?
Oh, absolutely. And all of that gets taken care of in part one. Absolutely. And there's so much that happens in that part one. Absolutely. All those faulty information that gets handed down by society and parents and teachers and even peers that we take on as truths. And then anything that you believe will be. That's it. So the thing is, what stands in our way is that faulty belief system. I'm not good enough. I'm not deserving. I'm not lovable enough. I'm not talented enough. I'm not this. I'm not rich enough. I'm not, I'm not old enough. I'm not young enough. There's a lot of things there. But what is so amazing is that all of that gets transformed in part one. People really feel kind of like that kid again. Young kid who shows up in the world and goes, oh my gosh, they don't have this past, they don't have these baggage, they don't have these stories, and they're just excited to discover life, and they just, but what the beauty is now you're that fresh spirited person with bursting with energy and inspiration, but you have the advantage that the child doesn't have, which is the freedom and the knowledge that an adult has, so
Right.
you can drive a car when a child can't, for instance. And yeah, so it's great. It's bringing together the best of the both worlds, and your whole
Mm.
life changes. You understand life and how it works. You understand who you are and how you came to be.
And that's really eye-opening and breathtaking, life-changing, and extraordinary when that happens, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, it's like you discovered a world you never even knew existed. That's what it's like. That's what my clients say. And it's like, oh, I didn't even know that this existed. And it's like heaven on earth, and everything
Yeah.
really flows in harmony and everything
Yeah.
works. And my clients, they can't be happier with every single area of their life because all areas get transformed within those 30 days.
Valerie has a question here, and I've heard of this, and sometimes this can get in the way of and create a limitation for you. She says, what is the best way to overcome a phobia? For example, for her, and actually my sister has a longtime friend who's married with children. And it's similar to what Valerie's expressing here. When they get ready to approach a bridge, when he does, I guess, he goes into panic mode. It becomes a major sweating and nervous, and even though he's there with his wife and his children in the car, he almost has to pull over, and his wife has to take the wheel so they can get across the bridge. My sister was mentioning that. Valerie says similar situation with her. What would be the best way, if possible, to even begin to approach to overcome the phobia? For example, driving over a bridge causes physical symptoms of foot shaking on the gas pedal and numbness actually going up both arms. So if you're getting this physical reaction to something that is fearful, that is phobic, whatever, in certain ways that it becomes very, you just freeze in place, that can really be a really tough situation. So what would you suggest to folks like that who are experiencing things that really limit them in their lives, and being even going over bridges?
Now, before I actually created the AOM system, I actually suffered many years from anxiety, panic, phobias, depression because of that. So I know exactly what she's talking about. I've been there myself many, many times. And the way that I transformed it for myself was through the AOM system. And the other thing that I want to say is that there are 5 components that we really need to address when transforming anxiety or phobias. First of all, we got to transform that relationship that we have to the phobia, or bridges, right? For instance, that's a trigger. So we do that in part 1. And also we want to treat the mental, the emotional, the physiological, the physical, and the spiritual side of us. Okay. So, you can be an atheist and still have a spiritual side. Maybe it's nature. Okay. The other thing is, when I talk about the physiological, I'm talking about learning to rebreathe properly. That's very important. So taking time out to practice breathing and watching, when you're not practicing it, watching how you breathe, learn to breathe again properly. Physically, could be yoga, could be, any kind of, even if you can stand any kind of aerobics, then that's great, because it helps the parasympathetic system, and it helps kind of shake off all that excessive pent up energy, transforms that and gives you more relaxed energy. And the mental and the emotional, all of that is built into the AOM system as well. So I know exactly what this person is talking about from experience. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you that even though it plagued my life for years and I was absolutely debilitated by it, I mean, I still did my life, but I suffered tremendously. I got to say that no matter what happens in my life now, nothing can trigger me. The ceiling could cave in and of course I'd react, but I wouldn't be filled with that sort of, anxiety, panic, and all of those kind of feelings that we often carry around. A lot of people suffer from anxiety and depression.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I am just here to say, you do not need to take medication. You do not. In fact, it's only going to create more problems. When you have the AOM system, or you work with somebody, like me, who's actually had those experiences, this is the best course of action. I tried behavioral cognitive therapy. It didn't work. This is like, again, before I did the AOM, when I put that together, I had that kind of in the back of my mind too. That was one of my intentions and goals, how to be more relaxed and calm and not worried. It's from the fears that create the anxiety. It's fears, and living a fearless life. And that's what I do now. And that's what my clients do. They don't even fear death. They are so fearless. So when we come from a place of love versus fear, now we're living an authentic life. Now we're plugged into the creative source that allows us to actually create anything we want, any result, and any experience. So, but if you source yourself from fear, it's
Mm-hmm.
never going to work.
Yeah.
It's not an option. It's not an
Right.
option to ever source ourselves from fear.
Willie's watching in Holland in the Netherlands where it's really late in the hour, but she says, I'm alone. My children live too far away. So where do I get the energy to stay positive? Because she's feeling this loneliness.
Yeah, I mean, loneliness is a very, very tough thing. I've experienced it. I mean, extreme loneliness. So I get it. I really get it. I think that it's really important for you to, instead of look outside, if you don't have an option to be with somebody to help quell the loneliness, you can still overcome it. And I think it's really important to spend time meditating and spend time giving self-love to yourself, that appreciation, transforming your relationship to yourself. I know a lot of people who are sociable people and they live alone, and people that I've known extreme isolation from the COVID situation, and they are happy. Why? Because they have an incredible relationship to themselves, because they love themselves, because they give to themselves. Well, and I mean, they take care of themselves, eat well, they give themselves flowers, they garden, they read, they take time to rest. That's what I mean. They take nice hot baths. They read things or watch things that are uplifting, that makes them feel good. They treat themselves well. And I think that's really important.
And it's
And
not
so
selfish to do any
transforming
of
our
those
relationship
things.
to our,
It's
oh
important.
no,
It's
no. I
nurturing.
mean,
It's nurturing. Yeah.
so that's very important for turning loneliness around, and so that you can be at peace being by yourself,
Yes.
because you absolutely can be. I know we're
Hmm.
social creatures, but if push comes to shove and you're alone, you can absolutely have an enriched experience of life alone. But it really does take that. And, that's one of the things too my clients get out of the AOM system, is transforming their relationship to themselves. I had a funny story, because I had a client who, when first came to me, he couldn't stand to be alone. And he was always constantly wanting to go out and do things. He just didn't like being alone. So he was really pushing the dating and stuff, because he was single and all this stuff. And, but then we started working together. And he said, I went to a restaurant. I was waiting for my date, and she canceled on me. She didn't show up. She canceled on me. And instead of being disappointed and thinking, well, what's wrong with me? Why is this happening to me? And I don't want to be alone. His relationship was so transformed with himself. He said, I just thought, you know what? I'm going to take myself on a date. And he went out and got himself a pizza at this restaurant, sat outside and got a beer. He doesn't even drink beer very often, And he said, I had the best time. I had the greatest time. He goes, I could have never done that before.
Very
He said, I'm going to take
liberating. Very
myself on a date and
liberating.
have the best time.
Very
Yes.
liberating. Yeah. Yeah. And it sounds like getting rid of a lot of things that are sort of drag us down, and baggage and things that we carry through our lives that no longer serve us, right? It's difficult sometimes to cut the cord, a cord that maybe we have created, a cord that others have created, a cord that the world has created. There are times when, as difficult as it may seem, you actually have to cut the cord, whatever that may be. And doesn't necessarily mean, a romantic relationship or anything. It could be anything in life. You have to cut the cord sometimes in order to move on for your own health and your own well-being, right? No matter what that may be. You and I were talking before we went live on the air that during this time of the pandemic and people being at home and social distancing, a lot of people have been looking in the mirror and looking at the reflection and saying, who is that? Do I recognize that person? Am I doing the things that I've always wanted to do? Am I doing things that also serve my purpose and my soul? Are they feeding my soul? And what can I now do during this more quiet time when I can't necessarily go out places and go here and go there? What can I do now to sort of re-energize, reboot, reconnect with who I am, or maybe even discover who I am for the very first time and take on some of those things I've put aside that I've always wanted to do? It can be a really beautiful thing when you realize that, right? And you act upon it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Some of my clients right now, I've got one who's taken drum lessons, and I've got another one who's taken drum and dance lessons, if you can believe that.
Can you imagine
And
that?
what they've reported to me is they said, I can't believe how fat, it's like I already know how to do this. And I said, that's right. You do know how to. And you now tapped into that knowing that's all within you. Why do you think Mozart was able to write the symphonies when he was
Mm-hmm.
4 years old? Because he had that unique ability to realize that he already knew this. We all know everything within us. That's why I keep saying it's all here, it's all here. Stop looking out there. It's all within you. And so, like she was saying, I'm just like I'm learning these dance, but it's incredible. It's like I already know what to do. It's like almost supernatural, but we are supernatural.
We
We
are,
are
right?
super human beings. Yeah, we've got that magic and the miracles within us. We just need to know how to tap into it. It's really there, and good set of tools, makes all the difference, really. It's all about that. It's all about the understanding and having the tools to apply to allow it to happen. Absolutely. Because nobody wants to suffer. Not even hardened criminals want to suffer. And I remember reading a book a long time ago that said, like, stop suffering, or suffering is optional. And I'm like, hey, that's easy for you to say. I don't want to suffer, but I am suffering. And you say it's optional. And I don't feel like it's an option, that kind of thing. But that's why you need like something that will lead you there to realize that it is optional and you can choose it easily to suffer or not suffer. But you got to have what we're talking about here, because that's the thing that's so frustrating. A lot of this information is fabulous that you read about and everything. Oh, be grateful, and that's how your life's going to change. Then you sit there and you go, was I grateful enough? Did I do it enough? Did I do it enough times, or was the depth of the gratitude just right? Nothing's happening in my life yet. I don't know what this is all about.
Exactly right. And then sometimes but you don't want to give in or give up. You want to keep moving forward, which is the key. Juanita, watching in South Africa, says, with the example that you had used, what if the mother was really mean and wasn't just your interpretation? How do you get past the trauma first? And she goes in parentheses with a smile, not talking about my mom. So you have a situation with the mother being not necessarily warm and loving and supportive. And how do you get past that trauma? Juanita in South Africa watching.
Can you
hear
still
us?
hear me?
We hear you. Yep. You hear us?
Yeah.
Yep.
It was, okay. It was
Sort of a Wi-Fi funky thing on your end there. Did you get the question as far as what Juanita was asking about? You might have to put another quarter in the payphone. We have a frozen Sterling. Juanita, we will get you that answer. Hang in. Not that you're talking about your mom. Are you good there, Sterling? She's frozen in time. Sterling, what you can do, if you can hear me, is take yourself out and come back in through the link. There you go. Yeah, she's having Wi-Fi. Hey, there's your chair. This show never fails where we don't see. Oh, I have to do a whole show on chairs and couches and welcome back. You're muted. Your audio is muted. You are muted. The beautiful leather white couch in Beverly Hills. Yes, the Sterling couch. Yeah, the couch. There you go. There you go. You didn't have an earthquake or something, did you?
I don't know how that happened.
Just, I tell you, crazy. But
no,
there's an amazing thing that's happened. I would say just about maybe 90% of the guests, we've ended up seeing the chair or the couch that they are sitting in when they have the conversation. So it's become a running, either they have to charge up their phone or they have to step out for a second. They're going to get water. The baby's crying. The dog is barking, or their signal goes down. So they love that white leather couch that you have. And look what they're saying: chair time, cool couch, pretty couch, nice couch. It's the Sterling couch. It's just become so like, I'm going to do a whole hour show just with the guests' chairs that they sat in. I think it's going to be amazing. We hear some barking. You have a friend there, right?
I do. That's Gigi.
Yeah. Gigi,
my little fur buddy.
Oh yeah. Do you want to bring Gigi in? I mean, they love when they love when kids come in. They love when pets come in, and they love when you talk about food.
Come. She's come.
Does she know?
Come on. I don't have a treat, but come. But you want to come? She's that smart.
I was going to say, tell Gigi, this is her 15 minutes of fame. She's
just sitting there, just staring at me. Come, Dyer. Are you being camera shy? What's going on? Come here. Come. Okay. No. Okay. Well, we'll see if she joins us. But she's playing Catch Me If You Can.
What kind of what kind of dog is Gigi?
She's about this big. She's white, multi-poo. She really is cute. I wish she'd come over and visit us, but she's kind of doing her own thing. She might come later.
I'm a friendly host, and this is your 15 minutes of fame, Gigi. This is your big time, your big moment. We're international. We're live. Come on, Gigi.
Come on. Oh, well.
So I was mentioning that Juanita
I didn't get to hear that.
The question. Juanita had mentioned, she shared, and Juanita is a very open person, a very loving person. She's in South Africa where it's very, very late. She never misses an episode of our show. And it's like, 2, 3 a.m. And she always wraps her day around our show, which we really, really appreciate. She says, with an example that was used earlier, what if the mother was really mean? Your mother is supposed to be this loving, warm person, but in this case, the mother's mean, and it wasn't just your interpretation. How do you get past the trauma first? And then she says in parentheses, not talking about her mom. So she's mentioning.
I understand, and I have a lot of clients like that.
The mother was tough and mean, and And Juanita's a
I
wonderful mother
myself had
herself.
what Yeah, I myself had what I call a wicked stepfather. He was very mentally and physically abusive, and you know, it's a lot. You'll get this if you work with me one on one or in a group setting or however modality, or you read the book. What you really start to understand is why this person is behaving this way, and it actually allows you to see that it's not personal. This behavior, this abusive behavior, actually has nothing to do with you. And you also understand where it originated from. And when you really understand that on a deep level, everything changes, including not just your perspective, but your feelings and your understanding. You see it differently. And it's really powerful. And I can honestly tell you that if I saw that, what I call well, he was abusive, but I call him the intruder, one of the intruders in my life, if you will, lots of intruders. But if I saw that intruder face to face today, I would have nothing but unconditional love for that person. And I would be absolutely whole and complete within myself, and, and confident and completely loving with absolutely no fear, even though this person put the fear of God in me. It's like,
Yeah, right, right.
yes.
Mm.
But it's true, and people often ask me sometimes in interviews, they go, I don't believe you can be unconditionally loving, or you can't just unconditionally love everybody. And it's absolutely not true. I mean,
How
because
much?
I'm living proof and my clients are living proof. And you know what, there was no tougher nut than me. I was so dissatisfied with my life. I remember sitting there going, all I have to show for my life is frustration and disappointment. That's it. Like, that sums up my whole life: frustration and disappointment. So,
How much of this
so
is
I,
about
you know, if
forgiveness
I
as
can
well?
do this work, yeah, if I can do this work and I can transform my life, anybody can. I'm like the toughest client that I've ever come across. So there is nobody that's tougher than me. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. And the reason why I was feeling that way, Jim, was simply because I didn't have the tools. It wasn't for not trying. I tried to like read this and understand that and this and that and all that, and all of it just led to nowhere. So I had the motivation, or had the desire, if you will, but I didn't have the AOM system. And now now I do. And I laugh because I'm not just a creator of it, I'm a participant of it. I'm just like anybody else who engages in the system, like my clients. I mean, we share that commonality. So I look back on my old life and I feel like I'm peering into another lifetime ago or something. I can't, relate to it on any kind of emotional level anymore. It's been transformed for a while. And but that's what's great. It works so quickly for my clients. There's a lot to understand, but the good news is that it's not complicated. It's actually simple. You need to be given the information in a way where it's simple, but conveyed in a way that actually has you go, aha, I get
Yeah,
this now.
yeah.
This makes sense. All the pieces of the puzzle are here. I see clearly now. That's very important.
So, how much of this involves any sort of forgiveness, either forgiveness for yourself or forgiveness for those who quote unquote trespass against us type thing? Is there forgiveness involved in this in order to be able to experience this lightening of the load, this burden, this liberation?
Yes, absolutely. It's important that you forgive others, but it's easy to forgive others when you realize that it's actually not personal. It makes it much easier to forgive. And that's what people are able to understand and see, is why and how it's not personal. It's also paramount to forgive yourself for making it mean something about you, making it mean something disempowering, such as, well, what's wrong with me? There's something wrong with me, or I'm not good enough. I'm not enough. I am not lovable. I'm stupid. There's something wrong, right? All of those kinds of things. It's important for you to be able to forgive yourself for making that up. But that's, by the time you're actually doing this, you're already informed on a deep level, and you understand on a deep level of how all of this came about. So if you understand how it comes about and why, and you're clear on all that, you're able to do the exercise in a way that's actually going to transform your life right then and there.
Right. Which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Let's again talk a little bit more, bringing it to the actual system itself. You mentioned it's broken. The AOM system, manifestation mastery in 30 days, is a system that is broken into 4 different sections, chapters, categories. Tell us about that, Sterling, as far as we've dealt a lot, I think, with tapping into the very first part of it. Take us through the second part, if you can. And you have a friend there. Is Gigi there with you?
She's bored.
Gigi,
Hello.
what a
There she
cutie,
is.
huh?
Hello.
What a cutie. Wow. Cutie.
She's wonderful.
Beautiful.
So part 2 is is now you're set up to actually create the life that you want, yeah, without any limitations. I mean, create as if you have a magic genie. Create from that place. Create that big. Create your ideal. One of the first things that I created that gave me proof that I didn't have to take anything into consideration for having it. I created a black BMW convertible for free, but I didn't stop just there. When I asked myself, what do you really want? And I thought, I've never had a convertible. I loved convertibles as a child. So I'm going to create a convertible, and it's going to be an amazing shape. And I wasn't stuck on the color or the brand, actually. That wasn't important to me. That wasn't an important detail. I wanted it to be an amazing shape. I wanted it to be a convertible. I wanted it to have 4 seats. I wanted it to have 6 speakers. And here's the kicker. I wanted it to have all leather seats except for my seat. And I remember saying to myself, how are you going to do that? All leather seats except for your seat? And I said, no, this is an experiment. Just go with it. Create your ideal. And I did. And within 2 weeks, I had a black BMW convertible, the amazing sound system, just what I wanted, and all leather seats except for mine. My seat had a sheepskin covering on it, or a faux sheepskin covering on it. And I didn't even think of seat covers. I didn't even know they existed. It wasn't a part of my reality, but here it was. It showed up that way, and it was amazing. And from that moment on, I realized that you can create exactly, don't hold back, what you truly want. And it's like, I had a call with a client yesterday and today. They're both like, oh my God, the perfect person showed up. One was like a best friend, a new friend. The other one was a romantic partner. And they were just blown away. They were like, I looked at everything I created, and it's exactly like to the T what I created. I just can't get over this. And I go, I know this is what I'm talking about. Now you know from experience. So that's what I mean by part 2 is creating exactly what you want. Ideally, don't hold back. Give yourself permission by saying it's an experiment. Let me see what can happen. You can't have that breakthrough result without giving yourself permission to
Right.
to experiment. So that's what part 2 is all about. How do you effectively create your life in all areas ideally? There's an art form to it. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where I give you the information on how to do that in a way that's truly effective, and where you understand it the way that you will. Then when you move on to 3 and 4, it's all about staying on track. How to stay on track to bring all that which you just created into fruition. And that's the part a lot of my clients will comment on. They go, I love the fact that to stay on track, I just say how I want my day to be, the results and the experiences of my day in my morning, and it happens. And at the end of the day, I review it, and I'm getting 90 or 100% of everything I said
Yeah.
happens.
Right.
So then they get the mastery that way, like we were talking about earlier, and they also get the confidence in themselves. Then they see how it works, and they're
Mm-hmm.
able to stay on track and bring those things into fruition without getting derailed. So it's everything that you need, and by staying on track, everything comes, and you accelerate those results as well. They come very, very quickly. And it's just like, where did this come from? It just dropped out of the
Mm-hmm.
sky, or it happened in the most unlikely way. And these are
Mm.
the kind of results that you can create on a daily basis.
Kathleen Walker, watching in New York City, asks, how do you get past feeling guilty about something you know you really shouldn't feel guilty about?
Well, there's a story there that contains that guilt. You have a story about something you feel guilty about. You believe this story. And once you're able to see that you had invented the story purely from your imagination, I mean, this is just a simple, it could be more complex than this, okay? So sometimes people feel guilty because they take a day off. Okay. Sometimes people feel guilty because they stole their mother's car. This. So answering the question can be different answers according to. So, I'll just use the simple one. If you feel guilty because you took a day off, then you have to look and see, like, what's my relationship to time off? Do I feel like I don't deserve it? Am I not worthy of it? Why do I feel guilty for doing this? Do I have a story that says, oh, you're going to get behind if you take this time off? Then you start to realize that this is just a construct of what you created. Like a lot of my clients who came to me, they said, I never had enough time to do everything. And then they start doing the system and they go, I've got plenty of time and I'm being more productive than ever. And I have leftover time. How does that work? It's almost like to explain why that is a complex answer, but it is based upon what you create. That's the short answer, and your relationship to it. So if you're creating, I never have enough time, you can be sure you're never going to have enough time. If you say to yourself, this is hard, you can be sure it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
And so a lot of it has to do with that self-talk and what it is that we're creating and what we believe. If we think that, it's hard to come by money and money is scarce, because mom or dad said, hey, money doesn't grow on trees, this is hard to come by. And then you went, oh, I get it. So money, it's hard to come by and it's really precious and it's super scarce. Oh, okay. Okay. So now I get money. All right. And you live your life according to this. And that's where it comes from. It's not true. Actually, you're made of money. Where do you think it comes from? Money is abundant. Money's energy, and you have abundant energy. So It's absolutely abundant. And you can, be that magnet for money. You can create free money. You can create money that is a joy to receive, that you receive it from something that you love to do. So when we're talking about why we feel guilty or where this comes from, it really comes down to our relationship. Like I said earlier, we have a relationship to everything. So what's that relationship that we have to taking a day off, for instance? That's the example I used. Well, I don't have a very empowering one. I feel disempowered when I take time off because I have it that I'm going to get behind and I'm not doing enough and I'm being lazy and this and that. So you want to transform.
That sounds like me.
Yeah.
I feel guilty when I take the time off.
So it's about transforming.
People actually have to tell me, take the day.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, absolutely. Why is it that some people seem to be taking vacations all the time, but their work life is going swimmingly well? How are they doing that? Why, right? Well, it's simply because they created it that way.
Right, exactly.
They know it to be that way. They have it in their mind that they can go enjoy themselves and their work's going to get taken care of. And that's all
it's all going to be. It's all going to be done. Mm-hmm. Exactly. What is it that you hope people are left with when they immerse themselves in this amazing system that you have created and devised? Again, the AOM system.
What would I like them to be left with?
Yeah, what do you hope is they're left with? Yeah.
Well, I know they're going to be left with a completely transformed life, And I think it's important for people to never give up. I often talk to clients who say, well, I've tried this and I've tried that and I've tried this and I've tried that. And they are so fed up with trying things and it not working. And I have to say, the last client who said that to me, I said to her, but here's the thing, you did not give up and now you're here and that's all that matters. Right. So people are very resigned. People are very cynical. They've given up. And I'm here to say, don't give up. And I think it's a really important parting message, if you will. Don't give up. You keep seeking, keep searching. I had to do the same thing, and until I came up with this system, I had to keep seeking. I had to keep not giving up. And I think that's a really important thing. And know that these modalities are out there. I want to make sure that everybody has access to these tools. I've got a blog talk radio show. There's a lot of information on my website, getyourlifenow.com. There's so many ways to access me in multiple ways. So, I'm out there. I've got my tools out there, my system out there, and I've got me out there to be of assistance. I love people, and I know that people's lives can be transformed. My success record is, knock on wood, like 100% with this system. So don't give up. Do the system. Have an amazing life. You're here for a reason. You're here to fulfill on a purpose. There's two things that we really need to soar. And one is to make a difference in the world / fulfill a purpose. And number two is to be accepted for everything that we are and everything that we're not, to be accepted and recognized for our greatness, our unique greatness. And each individual is an incredible work of art, like can't be duplicated. So each and every single one of you people out there are extraordinary, are amazing people. You're all amazing people, but you may not be feeling that way. You might not be relating to yourself that way, but you will and you can, because there is a way. And I think it's very important to realize how special you are. There's never going to be another one of you, and there never was another one of you. And you have something unique to bring to this world, and you are so loved.
Mm-hmm. That's the key. That's the key, to remember that and to let it sink in, because it's absolute truth. This was really a fascinating conversation, and eye-opening and inspiring, especially as we're still in the new year. There's lots of hope, and there's lots of, opportunities right now to really harness this, what you're talking about, the opportunity to really manifest and to master the opportunity to manifest our dreams and understand our true soul purpose and why we're here. And then take that energy and that enthusiasm, that passion, and share it with the world, because it's very infectious. It's people they gravitate towards that when somebody feels confident and resilient and secure and settled, and they have love for themselves as they have love for others as well. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So it's wonderful work that you're doing, my friend. And if people want to get more information about the system, get the book. Is it on Amazon and some of the other locations, your website? Tell us where they can get it.
It's on Amazon worldwide, as well as Barnes and Noble. And it's very accessible. You can have it in no time, delivered to your doorstep. Everybody has hopes and dreams, and there's no reason why you can't fulfill them all exactly the way you want. Nothing has to stop you. It's all a matter of shifting the way you see the world, the way you understand it. And when you do shift it, it all falls into place. All that clarity comes in, and it's that aha moment. You go, now I get it. I've been seeing it all, in a way that's actually untrue. And that's really very important to get, and you will get that. So it's a new year, and this is it. Let's go. Let's do this. You're here for a reason. You've got so much to give for yourself and your families and the world itself. So live your best life, because you can.
Exactly right. The opportunity is now. We're here now, and every moment and every minute is a true blessing. What are some of the things that continue to give you great joy and blessing in your life, Sterling, that allow you and afford you the opportunity to continue to want to connect with and lift up and inspire others in the way that you do?
Well, I think that a lot of it comes back to what we spoke earlier. We spoke about fulfilling on a purpose. I love people. I love helping them realize their dreams. This, to me, is a victory. I personally feel the victory. I experience it with them. And that's exciting, besides my own life, right? And also because I accept myself and I love myself. It's that, like we were talking about earlier, is that unconditional love for yourself allows you to give unconditional love to others and receive it from others. So those two things is kind of like a bedrock, if you will. It allows me to enjoy everything, to see everything as beautiful, magical, amazing, miraculous, just fascinating. It's being enchanted by life, and I feel very enchanted and fascinated by life. It's wondrous. And when you have that experience of living life, it's a great place to move forward, a place to come from, if you will. It's very authentic. It's a place to come from, to bring all of your dreams into existence and to truly enjoy them. So that's what I do. For myself, it comes down to those two basic things. And of course, the AOM system. But that's the product of the AOM system. So I think that definitely makes a difference. There was something I was going to say, and it just popped out of my head, but it's okay. But it was, oh well.
Isn't it funny how life works that way sometimes? You'll think about it again at 2:30 a.m. as you're twisting and turning. You have my number. You can text me. Well, this. You're a beautiful soul. and a beautiful spirit, and you're living life to its fullest, and you're sharing that energy and the wisdom and the wit through your work with others. And that I find myself doing the same thing with my years, on television and radio and all that I've done. And it's beautiful when you get a chance to do work that you love, that comes naturally to you, but at the same time is inspiring and uplifting other people. It's really hard to put even in words, although you've done it with the AOM system in 4 different ways with the different steps, one leading to the next. And within 30 days, people will have some extraordinary, really invigorating, re-energizing life experiences that will be extraordinary, right? And not in 10 years or 20, months, 30 days. That's amazing.
Oh, absolutely. And it really does start working as soon as you start working it. I've already gotten people that said, I just finished the book. I haven't even started the steps yet, but I'm already getting amazing results. And I haven't even started the system yet. But I know why. That's because they had an energetic shift from reading the book. And now to cement it, it's important to do the steps so you really understand it in that kind of way. So they read it and they got filled with inspiration and they're happy. And of course, they're going to have wonderful things coming their way that's going to further fuel that inspiration and happiness and attract it. Yeah. So, the results have been great from the book. And the book just came out January 1st. But
congratulations. It's hot off the presses.
So much feedback.
It's hot off
the press. So it's amazing what's already been happening from it. Yeah.
How long? I mean, how long were you from when you took pen to paper till publishing and now being available? What was that process like? How long did it take you to really put this book together in a way where you said it's done, it's the way I want it to be, and now let's roll it out? Was this something that you've been working on for a couple of years now? Tell us about that.
Well, I've been using the system with my clients for a while, and I would give them a booklet, like the Cliff Notes version, if you will. This little booklet, about 10 pages long. And I would work with them and talk to them and fill in the blanks, so to speak, right? So I had that already. And then, so writing the book was already there. Now I needed to put that which I've voiced and I explained down on paper with my clients. So it was fairly straightforward process. However, I did manifest this beautiful house, like on the top of this secluded house, on the top of this hill where I could work in, where I just felt so peaceful and it felt like I was living in a cloud. And I worked there for 7 hours a day, 7 days a week for 4 months. And that's what I did for 4 months. I just went into the cave, became a cave woman. That's all I did.
Yeah.
And I worked with a wonderful editor who helped me kind of like a soundboard and worked with me. And that was really great. Being that this is the first book, it was wonderful to have him. John Nelson is his name. And he's amazing. He's incredible. So that's what I did. He's in Hawaii. And so across the miles, if you will, I'd write all day. I'd send him my work and then he'd work on it and then he'd send it to me. And in the morning I would, go through the notes and things like that. So it was a great process. It was really wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations. Road trip, Hawaii next. Next time we have you back on, we'll do it live from Hawaii. How's that? That would be nice. We'll bring the editor on when there's a sequel.
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Well, I hope we get together, whether you're coming to the East Coast or oftentimes I'm out on the West Coast on a TV shoot. I would love to get together and break bread and chat some more. Sterling, you are a breath of fresh air and wonderful. And I wish you continued success. Again, we encourage folks to go to the website. Give us your website again.
It's getyourlifenow.com.
And I like that because it's very definitive. It's get your life,
Also,
not tomorrow or next week. Get your life now.
yeah, getyourlifenow.com.
Get your life now.
I also have the domain, the AOM System, so you can use that too. .com.
Perfect. And again, here is what we're talking about, folks. You can find it on Amazon and other places. It's really great. Manifestation Mastery in 30 days. And with a last name like Masters, I like the fact that you've got mastery in there because that's really incredible. I want to show you some of the loveity that is coming your way, my friend. Sherry says, it was wonderful to meet you, Sterling. We're so happy you came to Loveity Hall this evening. It's been a pleasure, and thank you. Willie's still up late into the evening. You had a wonderful answer to her question about her kids being far away and her being lonely. Good night, my dear family. 2:50 a.m. See you. Bye-bye, and thank you. And Christine Clifton in North Carolina, it's been a beautiful thing to share your wisdom and gifts with others. Thank you. Bernadette says, thank you, Sterling. Stay safe and stay well. And Wozniak, one of our regular faithful Loveity viewers, says, thank you, Sterling, for this awesome evening. Be safe and well. Kathleen in New York says, your doggy is adorable. Gigi is adorable. Thumbs up for a Gigi. Juanita says, interesting conversation. Thanks, Sterling, for sharing your time and wisdom with us. Juanita asked the question about the mom being sort of tough. Hi, Gigi. And Mary Bishop of Florida says, thank you, Sterling. This has been a very enlightening conversation. Take care. Kathleen in New York asked the question about feeling guilty for something that you really shouldn't feel guilty about. Thank you for being here, Sterling. Stay safe. And lots of loveity coming your way. And Tina says, thank you, Sterling, for uplifting this uplifting evening, and stay well. This really was terrific, Sterling, and I hope the show met whatever expectations that you had, and that you enjoyed the time with me as much as I certainly have with you, and you're welcome back anytime.
Oh, thank you so much, Jim. It's been a pleasure and a privilege being on the show, and I really, really thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. And again, hopefully you'll come back, and you stay well, you be safe, and continue sharing what you're doing, because it's needed now more than ever. So we wish you continued success, Sterling, and you be well, and you take care, and good night to you and Gigi.
Thank you. Good night, and I will see you hopefully soon again. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You stay well, and you take care. And thanks for imparting all this wonderful wisdom with our audience. I think they were very moved by it, which is really wonderful. You take care, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Amazing, wonderful, and terrific, right? Here you have an opportunity to learn about maybe some things that you didn't think of before, right? Very positive and very uplifting and very inspirational, what we were talking about tonight. As I mentioned, this is an entertainment lifestyle talk show series. So sometimes we have singers and dancers and actors and chefs and comedians and all kinds of different people on the show. Tonight, we wanted to talk about life. We wanted to talk about ways that you can manifest the dreams that you may have, manifest maybe a life that's a little bit more happier, more fulfilling. You know, there's a lot of people that go through life, as our guest Sterling Mire was talking about, not happy, negative, giving in, giving up. And life does require resilience. Life does require opportunities that sometimes you have to create. You can't always rely on everybody else to create those opportunities. Sure, there'll be times when doors do open and you have an opportunity to go through the door or walk away. But most of the time, it requires your determination, your tenacity, your dream, and your belief in yourself to take that next step. You know, all of us have times when we're down, none of us in this world, none of us, no matter how great everything looks, none of us go through life without loss. None of us go through life without annoyances, frustrations, confusing, self-doubt, and all the things. We're human. We're all human, right? So we all experience these things collectively. The key is, what do we do with them? What do we do to get past it? How do we learn from it all? How do we learn from what we've experienced in the last 10, 11 months with the pandemic, the economy, the political craziness, and the societal unrest? There are teachable moments in all of it. So Sterling talking about ways through the AOM system to manifest, be a master of your own life. The time is now. You know what I mean? Get your life now. It's live your best life now. Be authentic, be real now. I know a lot of times life sort of pushes things aside where we say, okay, we'll do that tomorrow. Okay, we'll take care of that tomorrow. All right. We'll wait till tomorrow. Well, if what's gone on in the last 10, 11 months in our lives globally hasn't given us an opportunity to say, why not now? With all the loss and the horrific things we've seen gone on in the world, and maybe even personally in our own lives, what time is better than the present, right? Sure, we have lots of laughs. Sure, we have levity. We like to have a good time. But I know there's people out there watching right now that are hurting. And there's people right now that are confused. And there's people right now that are like, I'll never amount to anything. I'll never be able to do anything. The way to try to at least move forward from some of that is what Sterling is talking about tonight. And she's developed a system in a way that can really help you, and not in a way that takes you half your life to have to master it. She's talking about 30 days, and you'll see some real extraordinary growth. One of the reasons why I keep doing this show every single day, when my day is extremely busy and swamped to the hilt with my professional work and family and just everything that I have on my plate, which is significant, is because I get a chance to connect with all of you. I get a chance to do something that I love doing, which is hosting, yes, and producing and presenting and all those things that I do as a trained professional television, radio presenter and personality, journalist, actor, all of those things. But really it is knowing full well that there are people watching right now, this show, all these episodes we've done, all the loveity, all the conversations, all the incredible things that have happened, that are being moved by it, that are being inspired by it. And I think that's a really cool thing. And it's a rare opportunity that we have. We've created a wonderful community here. We have wonderful guests, Sterling Mire, one of them tonight, opening up about her life, sharing with you ways that you can make it to the other side. You can make it through that dark tunnel that perhaps, seems to be getting darker and darker. We do it through song, we do it through conversation, we do it through levity, we do it through all the different ways we do it here on our series. And whether you're here every single night or you watch us just once in a while, hopefully there's a nugget of something that you're left with that makes you think differently when you look in the mirror and you say, you know what? It's going to be a good day. It's going to be a great day. And again, sure, there are things around us we can surround ourselves with, the trappings of life, the riches and luxuries of life. Sure, they're beautiful. We all aspire to that. We all love those things. However, they're not the end game. They're not the end all. You have to have personal growth. You have to have an inner love that grows and one that you can expand upon and pay forward. So Sterling does that. She opened up about her life. She told you things about her life. She's experienced depression, anxiety. She's gotten through it. She now inspires other people. And I know there's some of you who've been very, very open about your lives here on our show with some of our guests even with me. Some of you write to me privately and open about your life. Some of you post during the live show. I value it. I think it is incredibly beautiful. And I think it's very cool that you do it. And so this is the situation we have here on the Jim Master Show Live, where we do something different every night, is something quite special and worth sharing, spreading to others around the world, telling others about, and preserving. We thank Sterling very much for joining us on the show. And again, if you'd like to learn more about this amazing AOM system, Manifestation Mastery in 30 Days with author and life coach Sterling Mire, go to Amazon, go to her website, do whatever you can to get that material in your life. She's wonderful, isn't she? She's lived life. She's living life. She's very passionate about what she does. And we thank her very, very much for joining us as our special guest here on the show. I know many of you got a lot out of this episode. I can see the comments piling up here. We'll take a look at some of those right now, and we'll share them with all of you. We thank Sterling again, and she'll be back. We'll have her back, and I hope to meet her in person, whether I'm on the West Coast on a TV shoot or she's back east, as we say. And Wozniak says, Jim, thank you for another amazing evening of loveity. Wishing everyone a very good night filled with happy dreams. I do want to let you know that if you want to get charged up and you want to get energized and you want to start tapping your feet, Nikenje is going to do that, because tomorrow night, Broadway star Nikenje is going to be here live, and she is incredible. An amazing singer, vocalist. She's going to perform live. She's a major Broadway star, and she's here Saturday night. We're going to be live at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific with Nikenje live on our show. Don't miss it. We'll be here on our YouTube channel exclusively, Jim Masters TV. So join us on our YouTube channel for music, levity, inspiration, and so much more as the exquisite talent Nikenje joins us here exclusively. Cannot wait. She's all pumped, stoked, and excited to join us. And I can't wait to welcome her to the show. Let's take a look at some of the comments coming in. Kathleen says, thank you, Jim. You're a blessing. Have a great night. Good night, all. You too, Kathleen. And I hope Sterling was able to answer the questions that you had. And maybe you're not feeling guilty now about things that, Kathleen, I think I know what you're talking about. Sometimes I take on guilt that really is not even mine, and I own it. And you have to let that go. Again, one of the most liberating things that happened to me is when I was on a television shoot in Las Vegas, and you guys know the story. I won't go into it again. I may write a book on it, is when I was driving alone through Death Valley. Because as you know, the ocean, living here on the East Coast along the ocean is my go-to Zen place. Lived on the ocean, love the ocean. It speaks to me. But when I drove alone through barren, 120 degree, it was August of 2 years ago, in a rent-a-car after a TV shoot, alone with no supplies and nobody knowing I was driving alone through Death Valley. Boy, was that eye-opening, liberating. And I got in touch with self, which was really amazing. And I couldn't have family around, even though I wanted family around to experience Death Valley with me and friends so we can bounce. So I feed off the energy of others. I love energy. I love communal experiences. I had to do this alone. And it wasn't something I planned. The car almost led me into Death Valley, and I drove the entire length and then back to Pahrump, Nevada, where our TV shoot was. And it was amazing what I experienced in that alone state. Not that I recommend everybody to drive alone through Death Valley in August, but it couldn't be the ocean. It couldn't be with family and friends. It could be with colleagues. It could not be, in a city with all the action. It couldn't be in a beautiful, lush forest. It had to be barren, stripped earth. Me, the earth, the divine, and Mother Nature, and the raw earth for me to take and risk. It had to be risk. It had to be just go do it for me to really experience some of the really cool things I experienced that were very eye-opening and liberating. And maybe you'll have your Death Valley experience. Maybe the AOM system will lead you to that. Thank you, Kathleen. I love that. And Carla, watching in Brazil, your show is really entertaining and pleasant, Jim, full of lightness. Thank you, Carla, in beautiful Brazil and South America. We thank you for watching as well. Love when you're here with us, Carla. Mona, Jim, and the Loveities, great show. Thanks for tonight. Great show. Thank you very much. I know you're right, Jim. I'm getting there. I know you are, and I know you're still grieving the loss of your mother, Kathleen, which is a very significant situation. So hopefully some of the words that I say each night on the show, some of the words our guests, in part, and Sterling as well this evening maybe gave you an opportunity to look at yourself and not feel guilty and not feel any sense of any further obligation other than loving and wonderful memories of a beautiful woman that your mother was and will always be in your life and the life of those, around you. Juanita says, Jim, your show really enriches our lives. Thank you, Juanita. We have some kooky moments. We have fun moments. We have entertainment. Again, this is kind of like, if you look back at the old school talk shows, you don't really see a lot of shows like this on the internet. I mean, people do shows. There's all these people are singing and plucking guitars. They're doing all these things these days. The internet is loaded with stuff. And people also sometimes create these perfectly edited videos. I love live. I've always loved live television, live stage, live radio, live interaction. And hopefully we continue to build something here that just grows. This has gone way beyond my expectations, 250 episodes and thousands of people that watch. It's amazing. Thank you, Juanita. Tina says, I love listening to all these shows in the past many months. You've been a light in so many lives. Thank you, Jim. Kathy Short, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Tina says, tomorrow is promised to no one. That's why Sterling says, now. Don't look to tomorrow. Now. Sterling has a very important message. And Amy says, open hearts, open minds. Absolutely. I agree 100%. Thank you, Kathleen. You're right, Jim. Well said. Thank you very much. Tina says, Jim, I so enjoy your shows. You have an amazing rapport with everyone from all walks of life. Love it. Thank you, Tina. Thank you very much. I'm a very communal person. I love being in a movie theater and we're all watching the Titanic. And as it's sinking, we're all feeling the same emotions at the same time. But in order for me to get in touch with myself, I had to get out of the movie theater where we're all there together and drive alone through raw earth like hot Death Valley. And that was a very cool experience. Good night, Jim, and thanks. Good night, everyone. Please stay safe and stay well. XX hugs, you as well, my friend. And smiles from Willie. Hopefully that we gave you some light and love your way and Willie as well. And thanks for letting us know that even though you might be lonely in the daytime there in the Netherlands, that you look to our show in the evening, late in the evening for you, for some inspiration, positivity, and light, love, and levity, as we call it. Great info you shared with us. Enjoy your evening. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Kathy Short watching in Cleveland, Ohio. Juanita says in South Africa, good night, everyone. Have an awesome weekend. We'll be here tomorrow with Nikenje, Broadway star Nikenje. Get ready to kick up your heels. She is a burst of energy. She's going to make you feel good tomorrow. Love her. Good night, everyone. Take care. Mary Bishop watching in Florida. You too, Mary and Christine Clifton. Jim, this was another inspirational evening, a fascinating conversation with Sterling, a thought-provoking show. Your show always brings comfort and light. Good night, Jim, and all. You as well, my friend. You as well. Sherry says, take care, loveities. Take care and be safe. Thank you very much. And Mona in Louisiana. Good night, Jim and loveities. Great show. Thanks for tonight. Great show. I'm glad you enjoyed it as well. Sherry says, good night, all. And Kathleen says, thanks, Jim. You're a blessing. Have a great night. Good night, all. Thank you. You are as well. And good night to you as well, Kathleen. You're the best. So again, we thank our wonderful guest, Sterling Mire, for joining us here on the Jim Masters Show Live. It really was a terrific, terrific evening. And it went by really, really fast, didn't it? I mean, we've chatted for about 2 hours. We thought we would chat for just one. Sterling and I were saying, okay, probably about an hour, right? You figure most talk shows, they give a guest, 15 minutes, and they move on to baking bread or something else, a comedy segment. we really covered a lot of ground. And again, there you go. There is the AOM System, Manifestation Mastery in 30 Days with Sterling Mire. So we're going to wrap up. And as we always say here on the show, there's a couple of different things we do that are rituals as well. And again, as I've said, with everything that's going on in our lives, surround yourself with the constants in life. The sun rises, the sun sets. If you're near an ocean, go to it. Listen to the tide going in and out. It's been doing that for thousands of years. It's going to do it well beyond us. Go into the forest, garden, whatever you need to do, some of those constants in your life. Sterling, Gigi is there. What a great constant Gigi is. You know what I mean? Surround yourself with some of the unconditional love and the constants in life. We always say, don't forget to relax, breathe, love one another. And of course, Sterling mentioned this too, and I say it all the time, love yourself. Now, when we say love yourself, we're not talking about an egotistical, cocky, greedy, self-serving way. We're talking about really appreciate who you are and the talents and gifts that you have. So relax, breathe deeply from the diaphragm. It makes a difference. And love one another and love yourself. And as we always say here on the Jim Masters Show Live, don't forget to smile. That is the best kind of contagious there is. Don't forget to share the loveity. Very important. Something that was created by accident. Our Freudian slip here on the Jim Masters Show Live that became part of our experience. And find your Zen place. As I've mentioned, for me, the ocean is very, very Zen for me. But of course, the ultimate is time with loving family and friends. That is number one. Writing and producing, tennis, cycling, music, all of that are Zen places for me. But the ocean, growing up on the ocean, living near the ocean, swimming, surfing, boogie boarding. You have to drag me out of the ocean oftentimes. Just walking the ocean is very peaceful. You know why? Because the ocean is more powerful than I am. It's bigger than me. I have a relationship with the ocean where we respect each other. And it's very invigorating. It's life. It's constant. It's there. And it's beautiful. So find your Zen place. Find your Zen place. Another Zen place, as I mentioned, for me is always, my work in television and radio and stage and on camera, on air and behind the scenes all these years and all the different venues and stations and networks and everything as well. And of course, another Zen place is every day here on the Jim Masters Show Live with all of you. We thank you very much for joining us. Of course, one of our cast of characters was with us tonight. There he goes, George Burns. There he is. I know you guys look for George Burns. So George Burns is here, and George Burns says, "Good night, Gracie. Good night, loveities." He got a smile, right? He's got his cigar. He's going to sit over here. He's going to rest. And he's going to probably, what are you going to have, a bourbon or something? More than likely he is. So again, you guys are the best. We're going to be here tomorrow with Nikenje joining us here live on the show, Broadway star extraordinaire. She will be here, and we hope you all guys are as well. Now, if you missed anything about this episode, you'd like to see it again, well, you can. Just go to Jim Masters TV right there on YouTube where you are now. You can see all 250 plus episodes of our series with amazing guests and more. And you can see this episode again in its entirety. You could also share this link as well. So your host, Jim Masters here, thanking you for your time this time. Till next time, always a pleasure. Thanks for the comments, the love, all of the comments on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube at Jim Masters TV. And we thank you for all the loveity as well. You guys are the best. I really enjoy gathering with you every single night. It's as much a blessing for me as you guys say it is for you. With that, we say be well, take care. We'll see you again on the next episode of the Jim Masters Show Live. Good night.